Hey guys, Zach here. As you see in the title of the video, that this is my experience at MEPS. Hopefully, it could give you a general idea and maybe ease and answer some of your questions that you have before you guys actually join MEPS. Before I went into MEPS, I watched a lot of videos on YouTube about other people's personal experiences, and I saw that it was kind of a hit, and it really helped me out. So I want to make this video to help other people out, maybe answer some of their questions, and kind of give them a rundown of what MEPS is like. My ship out date is February 19th, 2020. I'm going to Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. Going to be out there for 17 weeks. My MOS is 88 mic. Basic is 10 and a half weeks, and my MOS AIT training is 6.5 weeks. I'll be out there for 17 total weeks. So I should be coming back in Ohio about July. I joined the Ohio National Guard. My personal reasons why was because I have a house in Ohio. I have a family. I have a very well-paying job, but I wanted to join the National Guard because I wanted something more out of life, something where I wanted to try to change my career path without going to school with a lot of debt. Because everyone knows if you go to school in your military, National Guard, Reserve, active, the military actually pays for your schooling. Some people don't know that. And if you actually go to school, they'll pay for your schooling, like I just said, and they'll actually pay you to go to school. So you might make it might depend on where you're at, where you live at, your region, and everything like that. So this video, like I said, is a rundown of my personal experience at MEPS. Like I said, there's a lot of different videos out there. I think some people might forget just because they all take the video right about months and months after MEPS, after they're in AIT. So you gotta think that might be a couple months, and they might forget a couple things. I went to MEPS last Monday. Today is Tuesday, the December 10th. So I went. I went on the 2nd. Yeah, so it was last week. I'm in Ohio National Guard. I had to go down to Beaver Creek. That's where I live at in Ohio. That's where I met my recruiter, Sergeant Carter. He did an excellent job. He wasn't very pushy. He wasn't very aggressive with trying to force me into the military. A few years ago, I was actually going to join the Air Force. Me and the recruiter didn't really see eye to eye. He was just kind of, he has this piece of paper. I have to fill out this slot, this slot, this slot, this slot. If you're not going to fill it, I'm not interested in you. Some recruiters are that way. Other recruiters, I'm sure, are not. My personal experience in the Air Force just wasn't ideal. And the reason I was going to join the Air Force because I'm real close to Wright Pat Air Force Base. So I'll say everyone knows it is a Air Force base. It's a very big base in Ohio. So I was just kind of more surrounded by the Air Force. But after a few years, I was like, I really want to go in the military, but I don't want to go all the time. Like not all the time, like active where you're consistently moving around. But something where I can still have a civilian life. Because let's face it, E1s really don't make a lot of money. E2s don't make a lot of money until you start ranking up faster. So that was another reason I didn't want to go active, because the pay was a lot lower than what I'm making in my civilian life. So this video, like I said, is for MEPS. So I met with my recruiter. We signed paperwork. We kind of gave him a list of my top 10, then my top 5. I was still kind of stuck between 5 or 6. MOSs when I went to MEPS. We went to Columbus, Ohio, because that's where our main MEPS is at. I think there might be one in Cincinnati, but we just went to the one in Columbus. At MEPS, you will see people in the Air Force, Marines, Navy, Army, Army Reserve, Army Guard, Coast Guard. There's all military branches go to MEPS. I think it's Military Entrance Processing Center or System. I think that's what it is. Stands for. Correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, we'll put it down the comments below so you can correct me. But I went to MEPS in Columbus. The night before, my recruiter took me to Columbus with another recruit. We stayed at the Embassy Suites in Columbus. We had to meet someone that worked there, kind of sign in, make sure we're there. I think sign-in was like 9 o'clock or 8:30. Kind of gives a rundown, how to write a list down. Hotel rooms. When I got there, everybody was pretty cool. Had a whole bunch of younger guys. I'm 29, so I'm actually going in kind of late. I think there's like till 32, so I'm still fine. But there's a lot of kids there that's 18, 19, 20. So the guy was kind of rude just because, let's face it, dealing with that age group every day, some kids feel like they're Hercules. Some kids feel like they nothing could phase them, that they're the next greatest thing. So some kids have a chip in their shoulder. So, I mean, I kind of see why he was a little bit uh, dickish. I guess that would be the good word for it. When I went there, my recruiter, he gave me a real nice book bag just because you obviously are going to be staying in the hotel, so you're going to need something to pack all your stuff in. So that was pretty cool. Real nice book bag. So I stayed there. Bedtime was 10 o'clock. So I got there. We had time. We had a voucher to eat. You get a free meal. I ate the cheeseburger. It's pretty good. Don't drink alcohol just because you're going to be taking tests in the morning, and just don't drink alcohol. Don't do anything dumb, obviously, because you can get in some serious trouble if you screw up at the hotel. But it was really laid back. Some people, their experience might be different than mine. My recruiter left me and the other recruit alone. I don't remember seeing any other recruiter there or superior officer there. We all went to bed at 10. Woke up. Wake up call was 4 o'clock in the morning. I actually woke up earlier because I wanted to take a shower. I wanted to kind of start packing, because when you wake up in the morning, as soon as you eat breakfast, it is boom, 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 boom. Like, your entire day is going to be long. It's going to be strenuous. You're not stopping. It's a long process. One thing that could really help you in the process is try and take your ASVAB with your recruiter. Do whatever paperwork you can with your recruiter or prior going to MEPS, because I was there from, I think, about 5:30, maybe 6 o'clock, all the way till about 3:30, 4 o'clock. So it was a long, strenuous day. So take your ASVAB and whatever you need to before you go to MEPS, just to save you some time, because let's face it, the ASVAB's going to suck. It's long. You're going to take another test. I think it's like TAPS or something like that. It's 176 questions. It's basically, people call it the crazy test. There's really no good answer for any of the questions. You're going to like sit there and like, this is a terrible choice. But my rundown was, we woke up at 4 o'clock. Woke up earlier, like I said. We had breakfast. I think you get like 20 to 30 minutes to eat. Then we had a Marine veteran there doing sign-in, making sure we give our hotel keys, because you're not coming back to the hotel. Once you go to MEPS, you do all your tests, and then you're leaving. You're not coming back to the hotel, obviously. So we all piled up on the bus. There is some guys you're going to see, some guys and girls are want to go, that are, as soon as they get done with MEPS, they're going straight to basic. So they're going to go on the bus first, or they're going to be put on the bus first, then in the front of the bus. Everyone else, I'm a delayed entry guy. Like I said, I'm not going until February. Right now it's December. They put us on the back of the bus because they want those guys that's going straight to basic. They want to do all their stuff first so they could get in and out, shipped out. Because, some of these guys are going to Georgia. Some guys are going to Carolinas. I'm going, like I said, I'm going to Missouri, Oklahoma. So they want them in and out as quickly as possible. Do not bring any type of drugs. Do not bring any weapon. My recruiter made that very, very clear. They told us that at the hotel. They told us that when we got on the bus. They told us that before we got off the bus. So they will tell you multiple times. They will have amnesty right before you get off the bus. So if you have any type of drugs, weaponry, or anything like that, lose it, basically. I don't know why people were bringing them, but they were bringing buck knives for some reason. I don't know why. So as soon as we got off the bus, they were like going through their bag, and they were just throwing it into the bushes or throwing it. I don't know why. Some people were freaking out. I might just throw it in the trash can or just set it over by the wall so when you leave, you can have it. I've heard stories where from when I was at MEPS, they told me that people would bring live ammo, people would bring cartridges, not the gun, but they bring cartridges, and they would bring knives, they bring any type of weaponry. I don't know why people do not bring this, because you don't need it there. And if you smoke, you will not be smoking for a long time. So if you smoke, do it at the hotel. And that's will be your last cigarette for probably a minimum 6 to 8 hours. We have lunch, but you are not allowed to leave the facility and come back in because it is a government established facility. And so we'll get there. You go through security. You will go into a room. You will put your bag into this room. It's kind of like a locker room, basically, but it's just big open boxes in there. You put your book bag, you put your cell phone. The only thing you will have on you is your birth certificate, your social security number, or your card, and your ID. Basically, anything that has your personal information. You're going to need that. So you're going to go in line. You'll have direct enlistment, and then you'll have delayed enlistment. Self-explanatory, right? Please pay attention because obviously a lot of people don't think that's self-explanatory. It makes the process longer. And then you start seeing that really nice lady or woman in the morning not get so nice, and then she starts talking to you like you are a child, like a 3-year-old. So they'll do that. You're going to have your direct enlistment go into another room. You have your delayed enlistment go sit down. Then they'll have you go into the cafeteria. They'll give you your paperwork. We had certain tables where it was Army National Guard, Navy, Air Force. So we were all separated up. It was a small room, so it wasn't like we were on an island or anything. Then they basically tell you, hey, you're going to medical. Hey, you're going to urine analysis. You go in line, and you'll do vision. You'll do hearing. You'll sit in a big box. Looks like something that was built in the 40s. You'll put these headphones on and a little button, and every time you hear a beep, you'll do it, and they'll see how well you're hearing it. Same with vision. They'll have this flat bar. It's kind of hard to see because if you go to the DMV, it's kind of goes the shape of your face. This doesn't, so it's a little harder to see because when I go to the DMV, I'm 20/20. When I went there, I was 17/20, so that part is a little annoying. You're going to do urine analysis. You are going to do a physical. You're going to do the infamous duck walk, which is not really bad. Just make sure you're able to bend at your knees. Some people, we didn't have any people there that was an issue, but I've heard stories from the commanding officer, the guys that was working there, talking about how some of these guys that come in cannot even bend or squat. And obviously, if you're going to the military, you have to be in some type of good physical condition. You'll do the duck walk. You'll walk on your heels. You'll walk on your toes. I thought I was in a freaking beauty queen contest because we were walking around. He told us to move our arms back and forth, so it felt like we were going down the runway on our toes. And you'll be in nothing but boxers, or ladies, you'll probably just be in a bra and underwear. And then you'll go through into a room with a doctor, and they'll check you out. They'll touch your stomach. They'll make sure your movements are good. And then they'll test you, see if you have any problems down there. And they'll check your butthole. Basically, make sure you don't have any hernias or anything like that. Mine wasn't bad. I had an old guy. It lasts. The butthole check only takes like 3 seconds. So he ain't looking at that chili ring very long. Women, I don't really know, obviously, what you guys go through. I'm sure it's the same exact thing, but you're going to be having a female doctor. Another test is you're going to take a blood draw. So when you eat breakfast that morning prior, are you leaving? The morning of or prior before you leave, eat a good breakfast, because we had a girl, she gets sick because obviously some people get a little squeamish. When you take blood draw, you could get sick. So make sure you eat a good breakfast. And then they'll have you sit down in a little room with a doctor. He'll give you a piece of paper, and it's laminated. And it's basically like a little 2-3 paragraph story. You're supposed to read it as fast as you can, as clearly as you can. And he basically tells you how's your comprehension, basically how's your grammar going. There's a lot of waiting. There's a lot of standing in line. There's a lot of paperwork. You will get your fingerprints done. So every time you go somewhere, you will have to scan your finger. I did not take my ASVAB prior, so I had to take my ASVAB there. So my MEPS experience was very, very long. Like I said, I was there for a long time. Then I had to take, I think it was called the TAPS test, which is basically the crazy test. And like I said, once you take it, it's really no good answer, because you're going to read these. And the questions are like, when I woke up this morning, I felt option A, depressed, anxiety, not feeling like I'm worth much in the world. Or option B, I like to work by myself. I don't like socializing with other people. I feel sad. So as you see, those are really not good answers whatsoever, but you have to pick the two. You don't get option C, you don't get option D, you don't get anything. And like I said, there's 176 questions on it, and you'll have the same type of question, but they'll change it a little bit. They'll add a word or take a word out, or they'll just change how they present it. Basically, I want to see if you're depressed because what your mindset is before going in. Because let's face it, there's a lot of service members, men and women, that do commit suicide, that do have a lot of depression, has PTSD, and they do have a lot of problems trying to deal with their issues. Depression is a real thing, is a sickness. If you know anyone that is depressed or has suicidal thoughts, please talk to them. If you are a person that does have these issues, please, there is a suicide hotline. It's unanimous. You talk to them. Suicide is not a joke. Depression is not a joke. It is a sickness. I had a nephew. He committed suicide because of depression, and he just did not have someone to talk to. A lot of people didn't know he had it until it was too late, sadly. But that's what this test is for, to see what kind of mindset you are going in, because they don't, as you see, like, there's always someone that's committing suicide, it seems like, in the military, as sad as it sounds. So they want to try to see what your mindset is going in before, to make sure you are stable. So you'll take all those tests, you'll go back to medical, finishing up whatever test you have to do. Then you'll go to lunch. We just had like a little package lunch. It wasn't that crazy. The breakfast was a lot better, but even my recruiter said that. And after you take all your tests and all that, you'll have lunch. My recruiter came in. He said, "Hey man, what's going on? Here's a list of things that you're interested in, things that you qualified for. And these are a list of things that have signing bonuses." That when I took MOS, 88 Mike, transportation truck driver, I wanted my CDL because I wanted something where I could transition it to civilian life. So I could either get a job at the base, because like I said, I live real close to Wright Pat Credit Union, or not Credit Union, but Wright Pat Air Force Base, work for the city, or work for the state. So I thought that would be a good MOS, where I could learn a very skillful trade, because a lot of people don't know how to drive trucks. A lot of people, it helps you have a CDL, it helps you have a security clearance, and it helps you have a military background when you're looking for a new job. A lot of times when you get bumped up a list, like if I wanted to work at Wright Pat Air Force Base, I'll get bumped up to one of the top of the list because I have military experience. So we'll look over the contract. You pick your MOS, you'll sign everything. You do a lot of finger scanning. A lot of autographs. I thought buying a house, you did a lot of autographs. Military, you are signing 1 million documents. They'll go over all your medical history. Like I said, there's another doctor. Like when you do all medical, they'll go everything. You can be as truthful as you want. A lot of people just, like, I've heard, the less they know, the better it is for you. So like if you wake up that day and they say, "How do you feel?" and it's like, "Oh, my knee is really hurting," and they'll stop everything basically, and then they'll have to do it. Prolongs everything. So if you're having a stomach ache, don't say it. If your knee's hurting or your back's sore because you slept wrong, that's not what they want to hear. But if you tell them that, they have to stop, and they have to basically stop everything they're doing with you and examine you, and it makes the process even longer. Even you might have to go see a doctor, get a waiver, and then come back another day, and you don't want to do that. You really don't. So if it's like little aches and pains, that's not what they want to hear. Don't say that, because it's going to make your life a living hell. It's going to make your recruiter's life a living hell. Then you got to drive. Like, I was going to have to drive all the way from Columbus all the way to Dayton if I said something stupid like that. So they want to make sure, like, hey, do you have tattoos, piercings, scars, everything? Explain why your scars is. Sometimes you have to, if it's a real bad scar, they might ask for a medical waiver. Just, if they see it, say it. I'm not saying a lie about anything, but if it's nothing serious, don't say anything about it. It's really not a big thing to talk about. "Oh, well, I broke my toe when I was 4 years old." That's irrelevant. But if you tell them that, they will stop and they will do everything like I just said. But I picked my MOS. My recruiter had to do some walking back and forth down the hallways. I swore in about 3:30, 3 o'clock or 3:30, I couldn't remember. Swore and took my oath of enlistment. Then I had to sign my contract. I was there for probably another 30 minutes, and then I was actually able to go home. And it wasn't a bad experience. I thought MEPS was a really unique experience because it kind of gives you a general idea to meet other people, and also it kind of shows what kind of shape you're in. You're not going to do no running. You're not going to do no push-ups. You're not going to do any sit-ups. You're not going to do anything like that. They're basically just doing a sports physical the entire time. I would recommend going in something comfortable, maybe a hoodie, a t-shirt underneath. I wore some sweatpants and some tennis shoes. You don't have to dress up. Do not dress up nice because you're just doing a sports physical. You're going to be running back and forth, hallway to hallway. So you don't have to worry about dressing anything nice. You can wear shorts if you really want to. Make sure your shirts don't have anything derogatory on them. No cuss words, no anything like that. But just wear something that's comfortable. Don't worry about, like, you can wear something like this if you really want to. And then once you swear in, like I said, you do your contract. They'll talk about everything, your oath of enlistment. You sign all the paperwork. They'll tell you when you leave. And then you're on your way, basically. Like I said, I'm on delayed enlistment, so I don't go until February. So I still have about 2 months before I leave. And you'll go back to your recruiter a few times because as soon as you sign your contract, that's when your contract starts, not when you go to basic. So when I go to basic, I already have 2 months already into my contract. So I have drill this weekend with where my recruiter's at. I actually will be reporting to Piqua after I come back to or back home from AIT and everything like that. But I'll do my drill where my recruiter station was, just like you are already enlisted, like a full service member. You just do all your physical stuff. He will ask you if you have any dependents. He'll ask you for your financial information, so your account number, your routing number. So when everything starts going, you have everything set up before you leave. Like today, I had to go back because yesterday I went and I did my account number, routing number. I thought they already had my BAH set up, but obviously I guess they didn't copy my paperwork, so I have to go back up there today. Luckily, it's only like 8 minutes up the road. BAH is basic housing allowance. So if you own a home or you are leasing or you are in a rental agreement, the military will pay a lump sum depending on your area code, zip code. They'll see kind of what the cost of living raises. If you have dependents, you'll get more. If not, you'll still get a good chunk. So don't worry about when you are gone. They will pay you your pay and then your BAH. So don't worry about your renting or if you own a home. So I didn't know that because I was wondering, like, well, I'm not going to be making that much money. And that's what my recruiter told me about the BAH. So now I don't have anything to worry about, because when you're in basic, you don't want to worry about finances. You don't want to worry about bills. You don't want to have to worry about this or that. Because you're in basic, you're there to become a better soldier, learn the history of the Army, learn the codes of the soldier's creed, everything. You're supposed to learn. Focus is 100% on you and what you need to do to succeed through basic and go to AIT and have a successful military career. So if this video didn't show or tell you everything about basic, or not basic, but MEPS, I'm sorry, but that was just my experience. I wanted to do a rundown, do a quick refreshment, because I know after you do something, after a while, you will forget certain aspects. So I hope this video helped everyone. I hope it answered some questions if you had, maybe some thoughts that you had before going to MEPS. It's really nothing to worry about. Just make sure you eat, make sure you study for your ASVAB, make sure you know. Math was my hardest part, so just because I don't use a lot of algebra, and I use basic multiple every day, you use subtraction, addition, division, and multiplication. You don't use really a lot of algebra. But study about that and vocabulary. And that's another thing I would tell you guys to study about, because there's going to be some words I've never even seen in my life, and you got to figure out. It'll be like topang most likely means blah, blah, blah. And I've never heard of the word topang or anything like that. So kind of just go out there, relax, reread every question, take your time, and don't feel anxious. I felt real anxious when I did mine. I always had to calm myself down because I was so terrified of something going wrong. So, but I really hope this video helped you guys. If you guys liked the video, please like, please comment what you liked about the video. Please comment what you did not like about the video. If you have any more questions, please comment down below and I will get back to you and I will answer whatever questions you guys have. So, if you guys are obviously joining the military because you're watching this video, you're going to MEPS, congratulations. I think you are probably picking the greatest decision you'll ever make to help a life-changing event. You are going to better yourself as a soldier, or airman, or Marine, or a seaman. I think it's a good idea that everyone should go in the military just because it'll give you a sense of purpose. It'll give you a sense of team effort and a team atmosphere. And I think that will make a lot of people better and give them a sense of pride. So if you like the video, there'll be more videos. If you guys like them, subscribe, comment, like I said, hit the link down below. Peace.